What will you do with an extra $300? Throw a pizza party? Visit the dollar store 300 times? Get started by opening a TD Unlimited checking account, and you could get an extra $300 to get more of what you love. Visit TD.com/300. TD, ready for you. Conditions apply. Offer ends September 13th, 2018.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good morning to everybody, and welcome to the Divas That Care Network. My name is Candace Gish, and I am the host of this program. I am so excited that each and every one of you has tuned in today. I have an amazing brand new diva that I'm going to be welcoming to our family. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, thank you so much. The Divas That Care Network is, what we do is that we have 10 shows now on our program, on our network, and we're a group of amazing, committed women that we want to interview women around the world, people that are making a difference, people that are helping others, and our hashtag out there, if you see it, is hashtag Divas That Care. So make sure that whenever you see that, you check out the amazing things that we are doing. As I was saying, we're really excited. Our show's been running now for 8 years, and I always get excited because I'm bringing in new guests. And today I'm going to be bringing in Carmen Braga. And she is going to be sharing some amazing, fun things that she's doing. She's quite an inspiration, and she's empowering so many people out there. And right now she's going to be sharing her story with us, and I'm going to be asking her some questions. So make sure after our show, because our call is recorded, you can send it on to your friends and family. So Carmen, welcome to our show. I'm so excited to have you this morning.
Hi, yeah, me too.
Well, you know what, this is great. Yeah, and this is your first time on the Divas That Care Network. So I want you to spend about 5 minutes or so. Just tell us about yourself. We're so excited to get to know you.
Well, I'm a very different person today than I was when I was growing up. That's for darn sure. I'm part of Healing Heart Center now, so it's myself and my business partner, Hazel Butterworth. And prior to 12 years ago, I was in a very different space. I was in a very dark place in my life, and pretty much all of my life, actually. For the first 40 years, I was embroiled in a lot of fear and anger and abuse and you name it, I was in it, and just in a very bad place. And I turned into an alcoholic, and I was smoking 2 to 3 packs of cigarettes a day. It was kind of a mess. And I started working on myself. I didn't know what I was looking for 12 years ago. I just had no idea, but I reached out, and I actually found Hazel, and she's a Reiki practitioner, and I didn't know anything about that at that time. And I started working on myself and really going within. And holy cow, the things that I found inside of me, like I said, I'm totally different today. It changed my life. It totally changed my life. So my passion now is to help other people to go within themselves and really empower yourself from within, because we have all the answers. We're so incredibly powerful, and we don't realize it. We're so reactive to the outside world, but we don't realize that outside is actually inside of us. And it's, my gosh, there's just so much to learn. We're amazing beings. We really are. And we just don't even know that. So the darkness that I used to be in became my light. And now I want to share that light with as many women as I possibly can, because I'm living proof that you can change your life. And that's just one of the most important things in the world to me, is to help others to not go through, or to at least to not have to go through as much of what I had to go through. So
and I love that, because, well, you know what? And it is. It's all about how we figure out who we are, you know, our self journeys, discovery, finding out what works for us, how we can, you know, as you were saying, how do we self-heal ourselves? And you found it through Reiki, and you're now working you own. You and Hazel are part of the Healing Heart Center, and I just want to talk about that because it's an amazing thing that you guys have started. So let's talk about that and how this is affecting, or how this is working, how this is empowering so many others out there.
Well, we, like I said, we're Healing Heart Center, and it's really, I mean, earlier you said it's all about you. Well, that's actually part of our logo is it's all about you because it truly is.
Awesome.
We're trying to we're trying to help people to understand who they are, because women especially, I find, because I teach night classes in a few schools too, and I find women especially, once, the kids have gone and some are retired and such, they're coming to me and they're saying, I don't know who I am. And practically everybody is doing that now. They're saying they're looking for something. They're looking for themselves because they don't understand who they are anymore. And especially once the kids are gone and stuff, because that was the labels that they had. They've been mom for however many years, 18, 20 years. All of a sudden, who am I now without that, right? When we drop those labels, it's incredible. It's like you're stripped raw, and you just don't know what to do with yourself. So the biggest thing that I've come to learn is that we don't realize there's a reason why we don't know who we are. And it's because when we're born, we are a pure soul, right? We come in, we're absolutely pure. You're sitting there, you're looking up, you got a big smile on your face, you're watching all your angels around you and everything like that. Life is good. You're in your purest state then. And then what starts happening is we're like computers, and we start getting programmed. We get programmed by our parents, by our teachers, by our siblings, by our friends. Everybody that comes into our life adds a little bit to that programming, and we become them. We're not actually ourselves. So we become bits and pieces of their beliefs, their past, their behaviors. Most of our life, it really isn't so much DNA based. It's actually learned behavior, and it's that learned behavior that makes up who we think we are. But at the end of the day, when we're standing here, we're going, I don't know who I am anymore. That's the reason why, because you're not you, you're them. Does that make sense?
It does, Carmen. And you know what? That's a strong statement, because isn't it the truth? We're so used to, going into these different stages of our life. We're at school, so we're the students, and then we find our partner, and then if we get married, we have children, or whatever that thing. So I'm just overwhelmed here, because I really have so many questions that I personally want to ask you. How do we, especially with, because we can go and say, working with women now at our age, but how do we go back? How do you go back to these 19, 20-year-old women and say, teach them to keep on to their path without taking on so many? Do you work with a lot of younger individuals? And that's my biggest question. How do you know to keep onto your path without taking on everybody else's stuff?
Well, we don't. Nobody's teaching that. That's the problem, and that's one of the things that I would really love to. Most of the women that are coming to me are usually between 30 and 60s, somewhere in there. So,
wow.
But it's the younger generation. It's the new parents coming up is who I would really like to reach, because before they I'd like to get through to them before they put all of their stuff, all of their programming onto their children, right? Because that's what's happened throughout the generations.
Yeah, you're going to stop that cycle.
And it's not through any fault of anyone. It's just the way that it's always been, and nobody's been aware that that's been happening, right? And but it becomes very debilitating in the way that we pick up all of those beliefs and stuff, but they're not actually truth, and they're not actually ours in most cases, right? It's again that learned programming. Like, I was adopted, so I can't blame DNA for anything. Everything that happened
it's what
to
we
me
learn
was
from
all
others.
learned behavior. Yeah, and
and then you think
know,
of all the
it
things
was,
that. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say it's all the things that you're right. It's that learned behavior, the people that we associate with. It's all about, what we're taking from others.
Mhm. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Like, if I could, I'd like to read something because I've been working with I've been working with my angels and guides and higher self and stuff for quite a few years now. Some people are aware of them, some people aren't, but that was one of the pivotal moments for me, that 12 years ago there, where I was actually had a few too many one night, and I was driving home and almost ran a red light. And in that moment, the only thing I call is divine intervention. And I was shown this fork in the road. If you go this way, you're going to have the life of your dreams. If you go that way, you're going to end up in jail. You might kill someone. Your choice.
Wow.
And I went home. I slept it off. I got up, stood there looking at myself in the mirror, and did the Dr. Phil thing and said, "How's that working for you?" And it wasn't. My life was a mess. It was just not good. And I decided in that moment that I was going to change my life. I had no idea how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to do it. And I was damn curious as to who were these beings that did that. And so that kind of led me on my path of going within as well to find these answers. And in that, I found a lot of amazing beings of light that are around all of us all the time. So a few years ago, you had asked if I'd worked with young people, and I did have a few younger in 20-somethings coming to me at that time. And these young girls were absolutely amazing. They're empathic, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with that term, but empathic, all it means is that you feel what other people feel. And like, I'm sure, have you ever walked into or come home and at the end of the day, and your spouse or your kids are in a really bad mood? You can instantly feel that, right? You pick that up.
Oh, yeah.
And the same goes for if they're in a good mood. We are always picking up the feelings of others all the time. It's just that different people are varying degrees of that, of being empathic. Well, the kids coming in now are way off the scales of what we used to be. They are so tuned in. It's amazing. So these young girls were saying that it was hurting them, like physically hurting them, to feel the energy of other people, because that energy was so negative. And some of them could actually see, they were medical intuitives. They could actually see into a person and see if they had anything wrong with them, which was, that's a gift in itself right there. But so I was curious, and I wanted to know what was going on with these young girls. So I went in and asked my angels, how can I help these empathic girls here? And so what they said, "Here are words, for they are true. It is their gift to know this truth. What they feel, they express on a raw level, knowing full well how to gain control of their lives. They are aware on one level, they just don't remember their gift." And I asked, what is their gift? To heal, of course. I said, to heal what? You. I said, how are they going to heal us? They said, by acknowledging your pain, they mirror cause and effect quite effectively, don't you think? And I said, yes, but it's hurting them. And they said, and it is hurting you as well, as it has been for centuries. You just weren't aware. The cause is anger, war, pain, and fear. The The effect is anger, war, pain, and fear. I asked them to elaborate some more. They said, you fear what it is you have most of, which is fear itself. It runs rampant in your society. It needs to stop now. These children have entered in now to show you the pain you have caused yourselves through millennia. They fear because you fear. They feel pain because you feel pain. They wage war because you wage war, inward and outward. See? And I said, yes, I see. So how do we stop this? They said, really, you all know what has to be done. If you want your children to suffer no more, then you must suffer no more. That was mind-blowing to me. And in that moment,
Wow.
all of a sudden it was like I was taken back, and I was like, holy cow, I was an empathic child. I could feel the anger and the pain and the fears from my parents and all the stuff that was going on in their marriage at the time. I was picking up all of their stuff, just like a radio, where you're picking up the frequencies. And that was actually what became imprinted on me growing up, and I became them. I became all that anger. I became all that fear. I became all that pain that they carried. And I followed through my life with that same darkness that they had inside of themselves. But I didn't know it
Isn't that
at
amazing?
the time, and most of us don't.
Cool. We don't know that. I read a book years ago called The Indigo Children. Is this kind of similar to, to that?
It is, yeah. There's they have many different indigo crystals, rainbows. They've got different names for a lot of it. Basically, it's just they're coming in on a much higher frequency than we are, or that we did. Excuse me. And they're able to pick up our feelings and our emotions so much stronger than we ever did. And I mean, we picked it up pretty strong too. If you think back on your childhood, I think a lot of people can identify with that. But what they went on to say is that these kids, they're picking up on all this negativity, all this pain and all this fear and all this anger from those around them, and they're internalizing it, not knowing that it's not their energy, right? Because we're energy beings. Everything is energy. So they're taking on all of that energy, and they're internalizing it, and then they begin acting out, and they're being wrongfully diagnosed with ADD and ADHD and being drugged by the millions. A lot of them.
Carmen, isn't this amazing? And it's probably harder for them too, because now these children are being not just for the people around them, but now they have got social media, something that we didn't have to deal with as children. So they have more on their plate now. So tell me this. How is it that, our listeners and our divas that listen to this program, how can they how do they work with these children? Because obviously some of them are moms that listen to the show, and how if they realize that this is going on within their family, is there tips and tools, something that you can help our ladies with today so that they can oh my goodness, that's my kid. What can they do to work with these kids?
Well, the only way that you can do it, they have to work on themselves. That's what's happening here. Is it's each one of us. It's our responsibility to start going within ourselves and to clear all the baggage and all the crap that we've been carrying for our whole lives. We're so laden down with guilt and regret and shame and that anger and the fears and stuff like that. We carry that stuff throughout our lives, and that's what the kids are picking up on. Now, in order for the best thing that a parent can do is to quite literally work on themselves, and then it goes outwards. Yep. That's what
oh yes, makes sense.
You see,
right?
what we're feeling. The outside world is reflecting to us what's happening on the inside of us. Okay, so when you look at the world as a whole, it's been embroiled in wars and fear and anger and pain and suffering forever. right? That's a direct reflection of what's happening inside of us, because we're creating our world. We're creating our life. And everything that we're doing is reflective of our life on the outside. So the people in our lives are aspects of ourselves. There's it goes into a lot of depth, but it basically boils down to that all that pain. So can you imagine if everybody on the planet felt peaceful within, what would happen on the outside world?
Yes.
It would become peaceful. We wouldn't be able to hurt each other or anything ever again if we were actually peaceful on the inside. If we actually loved ourselves wholly, if we actually loved each other wholly, we wouldn't be able to hurt anything ever again.
And I think, Carmen,
that's the thing.
It's amazing, isn't it? And I think that's what people are craving. You hear that. It's more and more people are going this way because they're like, there's something missing. There's something that I need to be doing. What's happening? I'm feeling this. And it's because they have teachers like yourself, people that are guides, people that are working and they're helping others out there. And I know that there's a program that you put together that you're going to be putting out there. And is this a program that people can I want you to tell us about the program, but is this something that people can attend that are not necessarily in your area? Can they do this online with you?
Oh, for sure. I'm actually doing one with a lady just over the phone right now. It's a 6-week program. They're called Empower Yourself from Within. And we look at family programming, the roles we play and why, what our children are here to teach us, letting go of the past, looking fear right in the eye. A lot of people don't want to do that, but it's very freeing. All of this is meant to free you, not put you in fear. We go into forgiveness, because that's a huge, huge thing as well, and learning how to stop judging and start loving. It's for women who really want to make that change in their lives for the better, because this is why so many people are sick in the world. I mean, we went through that 2 years ago with my husband. He got cancer. The first thing I did was we looked at what was happening on the inside of him, and we could see clearly, okay, well, this is why this arose, and so we dealt with the inside in order to heal the outside, and we do things completely opposite of that. We are always looking outside of ourselves for the answers and for somebody to fix us. But it has to come from within. You are the only one who can do this. And it's not as hard as people think it is, and it's not scary by any way, shape, or form. Like I said, it's very freeing. It allows you to finally get in touch with yourself and to finally yourself.
Wow, I love that.
That's the whole idea.
It's the whole idea, isn't it? Okay, Carmen, how can our listeners get a hold of you? How can they be a part of the programs? How can they find you on social media? Well, you can find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm going to learn more social media. I'm not very computer-wise, but you can go to our website, which is www.healingheartscenter.ca. And center is spelled CENTRE. And we also have our Facebook page as well, which is facebook.com/healingheartcenter.ca. And I can give you my phone number if you want that as well. Not sure if you do whatever
that.
you'd like for the if you'd like that way, you can definitely do that.
Sure. Yeah, my phone number is 780-994-3000.
That is awesome, Carmen.
That's the best way. And we're in Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Sherwood Park, Alberta. Excellent. Yeah. So, no, that's perfect. And is there, I know our show is coming to a close right now. Is there any last-minute tips things that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Just really pay attention to how you're speaking to yourself. Pay attention to your thoughts and your words, because it really does make a difference. You know, we were taught sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. That's absolutely wrong. Those words that we're telling ourselves, especially as women, when you're standing in front of that mirror, what are you saying to yourself? What do you actually, you know, how you're, that's part of that family programming too. I mean, it comes up, a lot of people were taught, you know, we grow up with these things in our heads telling ourselves you're dumb, you're ugly, you're stupid, this and that and the other. And we go through life absolutely convinced of these things. And then we wonder why we are feeling so down. And I think self-confidence is at an all-time low for a lot of women. And we're just not sure of who we are. You know, and it's so important to pay attention to how you're speaking to yourself, to what your outer world looks like is a direct reflection of that inside. And if your outer world is in chaos and there's a lot of crap going on all the time, then that's showing you that that's what's happening on the inside of you.
I think that's a brilliant way to close it. Oh, Carmen, it was fantastic to have you as my guest. I hope
Thank you. I
come back
appreciate
on
it.
and share more stuff with our listeners at a later date. I think that there is so much that you can share with us, so much you can offer our Divas That Care, and I want to welcome you to our family.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much to all of our listeners today. Oh, my goodness, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you take this call, because all of our calls are recorded. You can send it out to your friends and your family, because this was an absolutely fantastic show. And Carmen's got a lot to offer you, so make sure that you check her out on her Facebook page and check out her website and give her a call if you're interested in working with her. You know, I know that she'd love to work with each and every one of you. You can also check out all of our shows at divasthatcare.com. We have a list of all of our amazing hosts and our recorded shows there, so you can definitely check that out. And we thank each and every one of you, as I was saying. It's because of you that we do this program, and I hope that you do something kind for somebody else today. It's really important, and I hope that you all have a fantastic weekend. Until next time, we'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
Hear that? It's the sound of ATM fees taking a bite of the things you buy with your cash. Luckily, with a TD Unlimited checking account, you pay no TD fee at any ATM in Canada. Open an account today. TD, ready for you. You may pay a fee to a non-TD ATM provider.